everyone, welcome once again to Ask the Treksperts, the show where we answer your questions about Star Trek. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
Sarah, today's question comes from Deadpoolzilla, who asks us to talk about the Mirror Universe. And specifically, he asks, could an entire series set in the Mirror Universe work? Now, this is one of those concepts that's popped up here and there. I would say this is probably one of the big 3 or 4.
Yeah. You know, quick answer.
Yeah.
TOS Mirror Universe, yes. DS9 Mirror Universe, no.
Well, we'll get there. What I wanted to start with, though,
yes.
It's like if people talk about Klingons,
yes.
They talk about like Starfleet Academy, and then Mirror Universe pops up, and I think that of those 3, that one's probably like the second in my head that makes the most sense.
After Klingons?
Yeah, because the thing about Starfleet Academy, and we don't have to talk about this too much, is just that I feel like it would be very tough to make that not too boring of a show. You kind of want to be in space when you're doing Star Trek.
Do you want to go places? I mean, DS9 kind of worked because the other places came to it.
But it was also
just kind of important politically. But
at least it was in space, you know?
The Academy, I mean, nothing goes on. Earth is a utopia. They're training for stuff. I mean, all you'll be doing is watching cadets, read textbooks and do simulations. That's
not the problem with it for me. You could do it like and this is a bad word for you, I know, but you could do it like a Star Trek high school show. And yeah, I know. But no. I think that you could do some really interesting things with character stuff.
It would be character stuff. It wouldn't be Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it would be weird to have the word Star Trek in the title. At least with something like Mirror Universe or Klingons, you're still trekking. You're just doing it with different people.
Yes.
I agree with you in that I would prefer to see it in 23rd century than 24th century.
Yes. Although, I was just thinking of this. I forgot Enterprise did a Mirror Universe episode, and that was a cool Mirror Universe also.
Yeah, I liked it, and I think that's one of the most fun episodes of that series. I think that premise-wise, it has a few issues in where it starts. We should review that at some point.
We should.
I still have, ever since Josh, one of the members of our Star Trek club, ever since Josh brought up the idea that he doesn't buy that Zephram Cochrane and his band of lowly humans could take one Vulcan ship and that they stole and take it up against the entire planet of Vulcan and then start the Terran Empire, got me thinking that the way that they gave us kind of the genesis of the Mirror Universe really was too oversimplified and didn't make a lot of sense.
The only thing you have to keep in mind, this is Enterprise.
Yeah.
This is Enterprise humans, Enterprise history, Enterprise oversimplification, and Enterprise Vulcans. And Earth could take out all of Vulcan.
No, I don't agree. Because no. What you're forgetting is that the Enterprise Vulcans were nearly militaristic. I mean, they pretended like they weren't, but they almost went to war with Andoria every other week.
And they were also kind of stupid.
Yeah, but they were, they weren't the Abrams Vulcans, which were complete pacifists. They couldn't even save their own planet, you know what I mean? It wasn't like that. They were, part of the problem with the Enterprise Vulcans is they weren't pacifist enough, you know what I mean? Yeah. It seemed like they were in denial about what they were supposed to be, and were anyway.
No, you're right. There's really no going around that except to say that it's Enterprise, they don't have to make sense. So.
But that's the only reason I say that it would be weird to start there.
Yes. No, absolutely. My favorite place to start would be TOS, Mirror Universe. So
the big obvious questions for realistically, let's just sink our teeth into this. Realistically, would it be a viable option? I'm not just talking about story-wise or fan-wise. Would it be a viable option
to create a series today?
Based off of, or to have even based one as like the 6th series right after Enterprise had they gone to a new one. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. Would it be viable? First of all, how long could it possibly last? Who would your crew be? And who would the show be for? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd have to make it for, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I hadn't thought about the realistic portion of it. The problem is that if you wanted to do a Mirror Universe that we'd already seen, it would be with recasts of any actors that were ever in any of those shows.
Precisely, and that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Who would you get? How would you put them together? And how would you realistically get them all in the same place together? That sort of thing. Could you do a Mirror Universe show with all new characters? It seems like it would be a hard sell.
Yeah, I think if they could do it well, it would work. But the problem is then what you'd be doing is basing it off of a concept of, okay, this is sort of the antithesis of Star Trek, kind of this parallel universe running alongside it. And is it even worth doing? I guess is the question.
Me too, and I don't know the answer to that. What's tough about it to me is that it's like, like you said, it would be like doing just Dark Star Trek.
Yeah.
And we've had other things that are sort of like Dark Star Trek before, you know what I mean? It seems like it would be difficult if you had done it, and I'm just trying to place this where it would have likely have fallen, you know what I mean? It would be, or even if you did it right now, wouldn't it be tough to put this out and not seem like you were just trying to cash in on something like Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the problem is that the only reason you really want to see a Mirror Universe show is because of Mirror Spock. So if Mirror Spock isn't in it, well, I mean, there are other reasons too, but like, if you can't have that, if you can't go back to what that episode was really and start from there, it's kind of hard to sell something else, and what would it be, and like you said, who would it be for, and how long could something like that last?
I think what made Bixby's original episode work, you know, his original script, which I thought was a brilliant ending, and the reason I feel the need to call to Bixby is because he's the one that came up with Mirror Universe, but more importantly, he's the one that figured out how to end that show to make it about to make Mirror Spock feel like a whole person, and not just the fun two-dimensional opposite evil Spock.
Yeah.
It was him being the logical Vulcan saying, we need a change. He was able to say exactly how long it would be before the Terran Empire was demolished, was crushed, if they continued going on the path that they were going. And he came to the conclusion that the only way to solve that is to become something more like the Benevolent Federation. That was all brilliant. So premise-wise, you're right. You kind of want to start there. But the idea of the Mirror Universe in the first place wasn't just that idea with Mirror Spock. It was, let's play with, how fun would it be to play with the opposites of characters we already know.
Yeah.
So you'd lose that if you did an original cast.
You would. Yeah, because you wouldn't be playing off of anybody, so the cool thing about even DS9's Mirror Universe was seeing what kind of characters they'd come up with based on the characters we knew.
That we already had, yeah. And they did it like 6-7 times.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
And going to DS9 for a minute, the only reason that I don't love the Mirror Universe they did there as well as the one in TOS is that I just felt like they took it too seriously in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of fun the first time.
And I think the problem is that DS9's characters were too fleshed out anyway.
That's a great point.
Because you can't have the opposite of a character who is not two-dimensional.
Thought about it like that.
So you have Kira. Okay, the opposite of Kira is not more evil. Well, I mean, Kira's not evil, but like, not extreme super evil like she was there. I don't know. I would think that the opposite of Kira would be nice person.
Oh, okay, well, that's interesting.
But like, I mean, she has her good side, she has her bad side, she has, the days when she's, hard to work with.
But of course, there you got more of the sense that it was less about opposites and more about the politics of the Mirror Universe changing people,
And so it kind of just wasn't...
First of all, I like Intended Kira. I think she's hilarious.
Me too.
And she was the one really fun, kind of spunky thing about that.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I don't think it was an opposite. But I think that at that point it kind of morphed into something else to a degree. I guess where I'm coming down on this is I don't know what you do with a show. Having said that, it'd be really fun to play in that universe, sure. I think that it would almost be better served as like either like a mini-series or maybe even, dare I say, a movie if you were to use characters that we already had in whatever franchise we were dealing with. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But again, it would feel... But also, it seems like, at least for Trekkies... It would be difficult to make that show and it not feel superfluous.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Is that like, yeah, we've had a few episodes in that universe, but we don't have a big stake in that place necessarily. We haven't really fleshed out any characters really hard, and it seems like you would almost want some more time spent there. So I would say that the best time to, and really I mean this, the best time to have done a Mirror Universe show, besides the fact that, yeah, just wish fulfillment, it'd be more fun to do 23rd Century, or to see what happened after what happened with In a Mirror Darkly.
Yeah.
You'd want it to go congruent with another show.
Yeah.
And that would have meant you would have had to have done it in the mid-90s.
So maybe alongside Next Gen, or...
alongside Next Gen, alongside Voyager.
Yeah.
Do it.
Or even
do
alongside DS9. That would have been cool if they had done crossover episodes between the two series then.
Well, and if they'd done that, we would have had 3 shows at the same time probably, because
Yeah.
DS9 and Voyager went concurrent through the majority of their run.
Yeah. But even if, rewriting history here, let's say Voyager hadn't happened, so that those were the 2 shows.
Do that instead.
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting. Oh, so you mean that's cool? So you mean you could have made the Mirror Universe a spin-off of Deep Space Nine?
Yes, and then continue to have episodes that crossed over between them.
That could have worked. It would have made Star Trek a very dark place. I think what was nice about Voyager, regardless of the fact that I don't think it was as good of a show, and I think that sometimes it did feel like dumbed down TNG, but I still like a lot of episodes of Voyager. Let me just say that. But of course, but with Voyager, one of the things that was nice was that to have it at the same time as DS9, it felt like you had kind of the lighter Star Trek and the darker Star Trek at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, Voyager had its dark episodes, but they didn't hold a candle to Deep Space Nine's darkest episodes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's bad to have dark Star Trek. Deep Space Nine had a lot of dark Star Trek, but it always, in my opinion, was still very much Star Trek. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it would be viable at all to do dark Star Trek, which is what Mirror Universe would be, and not have something else that's real bona fide Star Trek going on at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how well that would sell.
Yeah. So, but I really do find it hard to believe that a series that just started just say today would be viable.
No, not at all.
No,
I don't think so either. You'd have to start from a different place.
Yeah, Klingons.
Especially, I don't even know if you could do Klingons right now. I mean, especially if you think about, you'd want to try to grab onto those to the people who really liked Abrams' film and haven't watched a lot of other Star Trek. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that you should do it in Abrams' continuity necessarily, but I think that it would be smart to do something that's a little bit more traditional Star Trek. Even if you did it right now, just because that movie was so popular and there's a sequel coming, I think that it would probably be smarter if we did a series right now to do something a little bit closer to traditional Star Trek, so that those people could tune in and feel like they know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
You'd get a bigger audience. I'm just saying from a marketing, make sure that we get viewers for this thing standpoint. You need to do what we did with TNG, which was do Star Trek again, but kind of different. Put a different spin on it.
Unless you spun off of the current comic book series with Hive by Brandon Braga.
And then you had 7 of 9 just running around in a giant spider apparatus thing.
That would bring in all the new people.
Oh yeah, I would watch that. You would watch that all day long.
Yeah.
But it would feel like Star Trek a la Tim Burton at that point.
Yeah, it'd be different.
And would probably have to be mostly animated.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching Ask the Treksperts, and if there's something you'd like to ask us for a future episode, be sure to leave your question in the comments. And we also take episode requests. You can leave those as well. Sarah and I are planning on doing movie commentaries here pretty soon. I know we promised that a long time ago. We did one. We did Star Trek 11, and we're going to go back and start from scratch, start from motion picture, and move our way forward. Hopefully those will start coming out here pretty soon as part of the podcast commentary series. So anyway, just so you know, those are coming pretty soon. And thanks again for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
We'll see you next time.